Talking point that was started by one of the American oligarchs, the Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla. We're probably looking at a fourth shot. We need another booster. And then, of course, once again, it hits the ears of good old Fauci. And it took a surprisingly long amount of time considering the size of said ears. But Fauci suggests more vaccine likely needed. We're not done with this. I'm not done with this. You can't take me. I'm still important. Stop it. Stop it. We need more vaccines. All the vaccines. Hundreds of vaccines. Different variants. More vaccines. The White House COVID advisor. Can't believe he's still there. Suggested Monday that it's likely that more COVID-19 vaccines will be needed in an interview with CNBC. Okay, stop for a second. Does he do any medicine related shit, or is he just a talking head at this point? I know it's fairly obvious, and I think you guys know what is the actual truth on this one, but he always seems to be making these remarks, not from the White House, okay? And whenever he does make remarks from Congress or the adjacent rooms, it's always looking bad for him. But it's always bad for the American people and for the bigger, larger Western world whenever he's making these appearances on talking head shows. So what did he have to say here for CNBC? Fauci was asked how many more COVID-19 vaccine doses or boosters will be needed. I don't know however many I'm around to administer. Well, not me personally, but as long as I can suck at the government tit. I've only been employed by the government for 40 years, so we'll just try to push that a little bit further. I'm working towards that gold-plated Rolex. The answer is, we don't know. I mean, that's it. It's likely that we're not done when this comes to vaccines. Wouldn't you think that he should probably know a little bit more about this? Wouldn't you think he would have access to all the numbers? Wouldn't he have some sort of indication? Wasn't he just talking not that long ago about we might have to live with this? Wait, how do you live with it? More boosters, all the boosters. A day before that, yeah, okay, so that's when this article was written. CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, suggested that a fourth COVID-19 booster dose is likely needed. Oh, right, yeah, because he gave his appearance on Sunday, or Saturday. Bourla was Sunday. Fauci was the day after. Again, that's how this pipeline of information works. Somebody says it, another one amplifies that message, and it eventually becomes policy. Protection that you are getting from the third vaccine, it's not that good against infections. So what will help that? Another one that is, as you said in your words, not that good against infections, but doesn't last very long. But we are just submitting the data to the FDA, and there will to see the experts also will say outside Pfizer it is necessary a fourth boost right now. That's cool. So you're admitting that it's about as good as a saline drip, and that everybody should just line up to get that. No wonder Senator Ron Paul, your arch nemesis, really, is working to eliminate your position. You've been in that same fucking chair since 1984. Every single fucking case that crosses your desk, you get categorically wrong. Why would you think that any one of your lackeys, who eventually, once you ride off into the sunset, which is hopefully sooner rather than later, but whoever fills that position wouldn't do as equally as a pathetic job? So Paul unveils measures to eliminate Dr. Fauci's position. Not just the man, not just the job, the entire fucking position. You'll love to see it. Rand Paul, on March 14th, introduced a measure that would eliminate Dr. Fauci's position. Thank Christ. We don't need any more liars and positions of power, Dr. Fauci. Fauci has been the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases since 1984, a subsection of the National Institute of Health. He's done such a bang-up job with all of that stuff. Let's tell us more about the airborne nature of AIDS. Paul said the measure proposed as an amendment to the government funding bill is necessary because Fauci has become a dictator-in-chief. Where's the lie? No one should have unilateral authority to make decisions for millions of Americans. Paul, a doctor, but he's an eye doctor. Yeah, well, at least he has practiced in this fucking millennium. Said in a statement, adding that one of his goals was to ensure that ineffective, unscientific lockdowns and mandates are never foisted on the American people ever again. Hey, their lockdowns were effective for 0.4% of people, because that's how many people, or that's how much mortality was saved by locking everyone down. Feel vindicated yet? Fauci has recommended strict measures during the COVID-19 pandemic and more needles all the time. Always be needling. Including shutting down businesses deemed non-essential and imposing forced masking on children, which lots of places are still fucking doing, even in the face of their statewide governments telling them, hey, you can't force kids to wear masks, won't fucking watch us. The measure would turn the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases into 3 separate institutes, one focusing on allergic diseases, one focusing on infectious diseases, and one focusing on immunological diseases. But what about the Gain of Function Research Institute? What about that one? The institutes would all be a part of the NIH, so just devolving and dissolving the NIAID. The director of the new institutes would each take a portion of the responsibility Fauci currently has. Obviously, he has far too many responsibilities because he couldn't even remember long, detailed email conversations that he was having with his Chinese counterparts. The directors would be appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate for a single 5-year term. I love it even more because there's term limits on this nonsense. Fauci was appointed in to his post during the presidency of President Ronald Reagan, who died in 2004. Fauci is not confirmed by the Senate. Of course not. Was there even a Senate back when he was appointed? I'm joking. The amendment, if passed, will create accountability and oversight into the taxpayer-funded position that has largely abused its power, the most profitable position in all of the federal government, by the way, and has been responsible for many failures and misinformation during the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh, speaking my language. An NIH spokesperson told the Times the agency does not comment on pending legislation. Fauci and the institute he heads did not return requests for comment. Paul's office didn't respond when he was asked if he had secured support for the measure from any colleagues. You'd have to think that there's got to be somebody, at least with their heads screwed on straight. Maybe. Democrats control both chambers of Congress for now, and have frequently praised Fauci throughout this pandemic because they're all retarded. While Paul and many fellow Republicans, not nearly enough, have been increasingly critical of the doctor. Should have been since day one. Former President Donald Trump leaned heavily on Fauci's advice when the pandemic started, and President Joe Biden tapped Fauci as his chief medical advisor upon taking office in 2021, which should have been a big fucking red flag, but nobody was really paying attention to this little fucking medical gremlin. But now that all of his awful warts are out for the public to see, you gotta realize that these provisions don't seem like such a bad idea, because what has he gotten right so far? Okay, like, of his current positions, what is accurate? Okay, like, okay, to try to pinpoint him on literally anything is like trying to nail Jell-O to the wall. He's as slimy as they get, okay? Because when you're talking about masks, depending on the date that you look it up, okay, either it's 1 mask, no mask, 3 masks, 9 masks. He's like a fucking Dr. Seuss book. Or when it comes to vaccines, they won't be coming out for years. Oh, look, they're here. Now we got to force them to take all of the vaccines. And they're very effective. They're very good. What about transmission? Oh, it's different today. That's all right. I'll just go ahead and I'll change because I am the science. Whatever I say is gospel. It's funny, right? Because this was going to be the Biden administration. We're shifting gears slightly a little bit. It was going to be the most open, honest, and transparent administration. The adults are back in the room. Starting to slip into Nixon there for a minute. But whatever, I haven't seen Biden talk in a while. Maybe he is just becoming more and more like Nixon as the days go on. Who really knows? See, Biden doesn't, that's for true. But they were supposed to be ushering in an age of change to undo all of the bad things that Orange Man did. Which, really, what did Orange Man do? A lot of good things and a lot of prosperity was going on. And, yep, now you can just go ahead and wait and stew in your own juices because, yep, you have an open highway. Like it says here, Democrats control both houses of Congress. Time's a ticking, though, so better make hay while the sun shines. And for Fauci, hopefully you got a nice retirement community that you can go ahead and sunset off to, because your position won't be necessary for much longer. Whether Paul is successful with this piece of legislation or not, time is not on your side, my friend, and I don't think that in all of your nefarious research that you've had out there for a long fucking time, the people have been well aware of and increasingly more well aware of, I don't think you found the fountain of youth. So at like 80 something years old, you have a certain amount of time, and I hope you live a long and prosperous remainder of your life. I would just prefer it not be in public office. But with all of that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.